Hi, this is Katie from True You Wellness, and I'm here today to guide you through a chair yoga practice. Please remember throughout your practice that my voice is a guide. You always want to listen to your body, and it's okay to make any modifications you need. You should never feel in any pain at any point. And also feel free just to pause the video and take a break anytime you need, or if it's too much for you to get through the whole video at once, just do a couple minutes of it and then save the rest for another time. You want to make sure that you have a nice sturdy chair that's not going to fold or move on you. I prefer a chair without armrests that's just going to give you some greater range of motion. Please make sure that it's safe for you to perform this practice at home. We are going to make our way up to standing throughout the middle of the practice. So if you feel more comfortable having someone nearby, please invite them to enjoy the practice with you. You always want to start your practice by tuning in with your posture. So you're going to scoot to the front of your chair. You want to make sure that you're about halfway on the chair. I want to bring attention to your feet. If you can, I prefer that you're barefoot throughout your practice. If for some reason you do need to wear shoes or you have a brace that you need to wear for stability, go ahead and feel free to keep those on. Feel all four corners of your feet pressing down to the earth. You want your knees to be lined up over your ankles about 90 degrees, and you want your hips to also be at about 90 degrees. You want to feel both of your sit bones pressing evenly into the chair. And for some of us, we may have a tendency to sit to one side or the other. So go ahead, you can just take a couple weight shifts side to side, maybe forward and back, and then find your center. From here, spine is nice and long. For a lot of us, we need to draw our shoulders down and maybe even a little back to create space, opening up for our neck, and kind of get out of this forward head and neck posture that so many of us are in. So take a moment here to find length. Good, and then just a slight tuck of the chin, and that's really more drawing the chin back, and you'll feel your neck lengthen in the back, creating some space. And then feel free for this part to close your eyes. And just take a moment to let go of your day. Let go of any worries. Let go of your to-do list. Just bring your awareness into this present moment. Begin to tune in with your breath. A nice deep inhale and exhale through the nose. And as you inhale, feel that breath moving all the way down to your belly, feeling your belly softly rise as you inhale. And then as you exhale, reversing, starting at the top, exhaling all the way down to the bottom, belly drops softly in. I'm just going to give you a couple moments of silence here to really connect with your breath. We'll use our breath to link all our movements throughout our practice today. Feel free, if you feel comfortable, to keep your eyes closed. If you feel more comfortable with your eyes open, go ahead and open them so you can follow along with the video. Begin by dropping chin to chest, finding length through the back of the neck. Inhaling, head back to center. Exhaling, tipping the chin up towards the ceiling, just wherever it's comfortable for you, opening up through the front of the neck. And exhaling, head back to center. I'm going to be mirroring you so you can follow along with what you see my body doing, as well as my verbal cues. Inhale, find length through the neck. Exhale, dropping right ear to right shoulder. Option here to release the left hand, grab a hold of the chair, and use that to just make the stretch a little bit deeper. You want to make sure you're not bringing shoulder up to ear, so shoulder is down and relaxed, ear working its way down towards the shoulder. Should feel opening through the left side of the neck. And inhale, head back to center, and comes back to thigh. Exhale, dropping left ear to left shoulder. Again, option to release right hand down, grabbing a hold of the chair, and just taking that stretch a little bit deeper. And inhaling, head back to center, hand comes back to thigh. And we're just going to go through a little range of motion, looking side to side. We're just matching your movement with your breath, turning as far as you comfortably can to one side, and then to the other. And pick a pace that's comfortable for you. Maybe gaze even works its way to the wall behind you. Go one more time, each direction. And back to center. Working our way down into our shoulders, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears, exhaling as you bring them around and back. And again, moving at your own pace. This is a place a lot of us store a lot of tension throughout the day in the neck and shoulders. And just releasing all that tension, let it fall to the floor. And on your next circle, switching directions, inhaling forward, exhaling back and around. Might hear a little popping, just some releases of pressure, that's okay. One more circle, and allowing the shoulders to settle. Inhaling through the nose, drawing both shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale through the mouth, let them drop. Feel free to let out any type of moan, any sigh, just release any stress, anything you're carrying with you that you don't need anymore. We're going to go through that 2 more times. Good. Moving further down our spine, we're going to go into our seated cat-cow. Beginning at the top of the head, you're going to tip the head down and then allow that to follow down your spine, rounding all the way down to your pelvis, and then reversing, tipping forward at the pelvis, beginning to arch through your back. Chest is open, draw shoulder blades back, gaze comes up with a nice big inhale. We'll continue that flow with our breath, exhaling as we're rounding. Inhaling as we come up. So these are all nice, just little exercises and poses that you can work into your day if you do end up spending a lot of time seated at a desk, in a wheelchair, if you just tend to be more sedentary. One more time each direction. And coming back to center. Feet are going to come just a little bit wider, moving into Sufi rolls. So the head and just the upper body are going to tip forward. Hands are helping to secure you on your thighs. You're going to make a nice big circle or whatever range feels comfortable for you. Just beginning to warm up the spine. You can allow the head, the neck, the shoulders to get involved. This can kind of become your own flow, listening to your body. If there's a space where you feel some tightness, you can stay there and breathe into it, creating a little more opening. And the next time we come up, we're going to switch directions, circling the other way. Inhaling as you come up. Exhaling as you come forward. One more circle here. And coming back up to center. Now we're going to make the feet even a little bit wider, slightly turned out. We're on the edge of our chair, but you still feel secure, like you have enough of your bottom on the chair, you're not going to slide forward. We have the option here to go into a forward fold. If you feel like your balance is off too much and you don't feel comfortable going forward, please just stay seated and work on your nice deep breathing. If you also are having any issues with blood pressure, or sometimes you get a little dizzy when you first come up, you might want to avoid this pose. For all of us, when we do come up, we're going to come up nice and slow with a nice deep inhale, and our head and neck are going to be the last to come up. You're going to drop your hands in between your legs, begin rounding down the head and neck, and then continue rounding towards the floor. It's okay if your hands aren't touching, just leaning forward. A nice deep inhale and exhale here. It's a nice place to nod your head yes, shake your head no, just releasing any tension through the neck. It's also a nice place to take your facial stretches, so moving the forehead, the cheeks, the nose, the mouth in any which direction, releasing the jaw, maybe sticking out the tongue. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our face and our jaw throughout the day, so just letting that fall to the floor here. And then nice and slow, we're going to inhale, beginning to round back up. Good, shoulders roll back. Head and neck are the last to come up with a nice deep inhale. Let's just take another moment here for a nice inhale and exhale through the nose. Good. From here, legs are going to come back to about hip distance. We're going to move into our spinal twist. Beginning by inhaling, finding length through the spine. Exhale, twisting over to the right. Hand can come to the outside of your thigh. Other hand can come to your chair. Gaze can be to the side or back behind you. Inhales help you to grow a little taller. Exhales help you to twist a little deeper. Twists are very healthy for our spine. They help to stimulate the discs in between each of our vertebrae, bringing nutrition. And on your next exhale, untwisting, coming back to center. Inhaling to sit up tall. Exhaling, twisting over to the other side. Hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Other hand comes to the chair. Again, gaze is to the side or back behind you. Inhale's helping you to grow a little taller. Exhale's helping you to twist a little deeper. Twists also act as a little massage to our internal organs. And on your next exhale, untwisting, coming back to center. Moving down into our hips. You're going to use both hands or just one hand if that's all you have available to you to grasp the back of your left thigh, and then you're going to use that to help to lift that foot up off the ground, moving through 3 hip circles one direction and 3 the other direction. Good. On your final circle, you're going to see if you can get your foot to hook just above your knee. Foot's going to stay flexed, and for a lot of us, we'll feel a nice deep stretch here in the back of our left hip, opening up through our piriformis. If your body is saying no way, not possible, another option is to just cross at the ankle to still get some of that nice opening through the hip. From here, tuning in with your posture, so sitting up nice and tall. If this feels like a pretty strong stretch for you, you're going to stay here. If you feel like you need a little more, you're going to hinge forward at the hips, Oh yeah, and then you'll feel it come on. Nice deep stretch, breathing here. This is a good stretch for those with sciatica. When our piriformis, a muscle just below the glutes, gets tight, it's one of the things that can put pressure on the sciatic nerve. It's a good thing for all of us just to keep these nice and loose. So just breathing here, creating space. And from here, if you lean forward, coming back up to seated. If you need to, you can help to uncross that foot, placing it back on the floor. Moving over to the other side, again, grasping the back of the thigh. 3 hip circles, one direction. And 3 the other direction. Good. And then that option either to cross just above the knee or down at the ankle. Again, making sure our foot is flexed to help protect our knee. Sitting up nice and tall. And this may be enough for you. If it is, just breathing here. Otherwise, option to hinge forward at the hips, feeling that stretch come on a little deeper. And if you lean forward, coming back to center, unhooking your foot, placing it back on the mat. Working our way down our legs, we're just going to briefly warm up the knees. You might want to change so that your hands are just holding on the side of the chair. Let's start with the left leg. We're just going to extend the knee and then bend it. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come down. Just going through 3 on this side. Good. And 3 on the other side. Keeping our nice tall posture. Shoulder blades are down and back. Good. Then moving down to the feet and ankles. We're going to inhale, heels come up off the floor. Exhale, lower, front of the feet come up. A nice way to pump blood and fluid back up to the heart. Also one you can incorporate if you're sitting at the desk, if you're on an airplane. Good. One more each direction. Good. From here, I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together. Again, make sure you're nice and secure on the chair. You do need to be towards the front of the chair so your hips can really open. You just want to make sure you don't feel like you're going to slide off. An option to bring hands to the inner thighs, just opening through the inner thigh. Again, sitting up nice and tall. This is our modified butterfly pose. And from here, hands come to the outside of the thighs, helping to close the legs. Inner thighs and knees are together. And then walk the feet out. So now we're moving into this internal rotation. Good. Stop if you feel any pain. We're just looking for a nice stretch. Now more on the outside of our hips. Still sitting up nice and tall. Good. And then heel toeing the feet back together, just walking them back together, whatever way is comfortable for you. We're going to open up the legs a little wider once again. Wider than hip distance, feet are slightly turned out. And we're going to start by dropping our right arm down our inner thigh. Okay, so we're just going to kind of slide it down. Again, making sure you feel nice and balanced. We're moving into a twist here. So gaze is going to start to look to the side, maybe even up towards the ceiling. You can stay here, or if it's comfortable for you, inhaling left arm up. Gaze can be up at the fingertips, maybe twisting a little deeper. Feeling the side body open, breathing into the ribs, creating space. Good. Untwisting. Hand can come back to the thigh, coming to center. Then we'll go over to the other side. So left arm slides down inner thigh, beginning that twist. Good, and then option to inhale, right arm up. Good, and coming back to center. We'll keep our legs just a little bit wider than hip distance. We're gonna go into just a little flow, kind of a adaptation of a half sun salutation. It is gonna involve some of that forward flexion. So if you chose to skip that before, you may wanna choose to skip it again and just follow along with the arms and the breathing. We're gonna bring our hands to heart center, and we can all do this part, just taking a moment to set an intention for our practice. So an intention is something that you may want to call into your life. Maybe that's healing or love or peace. And if nothing's coming to mind for you, maybe you wanna offer your intention up for someone else. So just taking a moment here to reflect on that. Good, and then we're gonna seal that intention into our heart by inhaling our arms out and overhead. Exhaling as we hinge forward, folding forward, arms come down. Inhale as we come back up. And hands come back to heart center. We'll go through that 2 more times. Inhale. Gaze can follow the hands. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We'll go through just 1 more here. And inhale, back to center. From here, we're gonna move into our standing portion. So make your way up to a standing position. I recommend using the back of the chair for balance, just to have it nearby just in case. With some of the poses, we are gonna be taking one hand or both hands off the chair. But again, please listen to your body and just listen to what's right for you today for your balance. If you do use a walker, having your walker for these standing poses is also an option. We want to begin again by tuning in with our alignment. And if you haven't noticed, I am pregnant, so I have our little baby here practicing with us today. He'll be following along. From here, we're going to, again, press all 4 corners of our feet into the earth. We want our feet about shoulder distance apart. And again, you can take a couple weight shifts just side to side, maybe forward and back, and then settle into the center. Lining up each of our joints, so lining up ankles over the feet, knees over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips, and for a lot of us, again, that involves drawing these shoulder blades down and back. And then again, that little tuck of the chin, just to find length through the back of the neck. This is working into our mountain pose. If you feel comfortable, you can let go of one hand or both hands with palms facing forward, fingers open wide, just tuning in with your breath. So all of our other standing poses root from this pose, mountain pose. Hands can come back to the chair. We're gonna walk our way back to a modified downward facing dog. So slowly, one foot walks behind the other as we begin to hinge forward at the hips. You can keep a slight bend in the knees if that's more comfortable for your back or your hamstrings. And then just allowing the head and neck to hang. You should feel some nice opening throughout the back of the body, down the legs. Again, continuing with your nice deep breathing here. Another nice place to release the jaw, release the face. Good. And then nice and slow, we'll begin to walk towards the chair back up. We're just going to reverse that posture by gently arching, drawing shoulder blades back, looking up, opening the chest, opening our heart. Good. And then just coming back to our standing pose. Let's loosen up a little bit by having a nice bend in the knees, just going through some big hip circles now. So loosening up through the hips, through the spine. Good, and switching the other direction. And coming back to center. I'm going to move into a modified crescent pose. For your balance, if you need to keep feet shoulder width apart, go ahead and do that. If you're comfortable with feet together and you can balance comfortably here, go ahead and bring the feet so they're touching in the center. You have an option to keep one hand holding onto the chair, other arm going overhead, and then hinging forward. Begin by bending over to the right. If you feel like you can do this pose without holding, both arms are going to come together, palms touching, shoulders still drawn down away from the ears, hinging at the hip, opening up to the side. So you should feel some really nice opening through the side body, through the ribs, sending your breath there. And inhaling back to center. Same two options on the other side. So if you went with both arms, you can continue with that. If you had one hand holding, go ahead and switch hands. Again, hinging to the side, opening up through the other side body. And coming back to center. Both hands are going to come back towards the chair. Let's go ahead and open up the feet so they're shoulder width once again. And then we're going to move into our warrior poses. We'll begin by keeping the right foot forward, stepping the left foot back. We want to find this right knee lined up directly over the right ankle. Left knee is straight, and make sure you take a wide enough pose that comfortably both your hips can point forward. So these hip points, you might be able to feel your hip bones sticking out in the front. They should be pointing straight ahead. If you're kind of rotated out to the side, you probably need to widen your stance a little bit. That back leg, the toes will most likely turn out a little bit. You can keep your hands holding the chair here, or if it feels comfortable for you, maybe lifting one arm or both arms overhead. Again, shoulders are drawn down, away from the ears. Reconnecting with your breath. Warrior one. This is our strong warrior. You can stay here. If you'd like to bring a little movement to your warrior, you can slowly extend through that front knee and then bend back. Making sure that knee doesn't go past the toes. One more time. Good. And then hands can come back to the chair. You'll step the left foot forward. You might need to just bend one knee and then the other, just loosening up a little bit. And we'll switch to the other side. So this time, right leg steps back, left leg is forward. Left knee bent, lined up over the ankle. Right knee is straight. Hips are square, so taking that nice wide stance. And then inhaling one arm or maybe both arms overhead. Shoulder blades drawn down and back. Good. You want to feel equal weight in between the feet. Also, inner thighs are working slightly here. They're engaged. Good, and then adding that flow by straightening the front knee and bending back into it. One more time. Good, hands can come back to the chair and stepping forward, and then just taking maybe just a little weight shifting or bending one knee and then the other. Good, coming back to center, we're gonna move into our warrior two pose. For this one, we're gonna step our left foot out to the side. So you're gonna find left heel to right arch alignment. You're gonna bend into the left knee. It's bent over the ankle. Right knee is straight. Hips on this one are facing to the side. From here, if you'd like to add in the arms, option to inhale, left arm forward, right arm behind you. They're parallel to the ground, and gaze comes forward. Warrior two, peaceful warrior. Good. Option here to reverse our warrior, flipping left palm up, right hand drops, touching the back of the thigh. Legs stay where they are, so nice stable stance. Only the upper body and left arm tip back. Again, opening through the side body, through the ribs. And you always have the option to keep one hand holding if that's what you need for your balance. Good. On reversing, coming back to center, an option for side angle pose. You're gonna bring the left forearm to the thigh. Right hand can be holding the chair if it needs to. If you feel comfortable lifting it off, right arm's gonna reach up towards the ceiling. For the most challenged, gaze is up at the hand. It can also be at the side or looking down at the ground to ground you. And inhaling back to warrior two. Hands come back to the chair, stepping your feet together. And it may feel good just to kind of pick one leg up, shake it out, and then the other. And then we'll go through that same series on the other side. So finding your center here. This time, right foot's gonna step out to the side. Left leg is behind you. So right heel is lined up with left arch. Right knee is bent. Left knee is straight. Hips are to the side. And then option to inhale one arm up and maybe the other. Good. Core is drawn in, so belly button drawing to spine to stabilize. Shoulders are away from the ears. Good, and then option to reverse your warrior, dropping left hand down, reaching for the thigh, right palm flips up. Inhaling right arm overhead as just the upper body tips back. You might need to look down, check. Make sure that that right knee is still lined up over the ankle. Has a tendency to kind of shift backwards when we shift the upper body. Good. Coming back to warrior two and that option to transition to side angle. So this time right forearm comes down to thigh. Left arm has the option to come overhead. Where the most challenged, gaze is up at the hand. It can also be to the side or to the ground. And coming back to warrior two. Hands can come back to the chair, stepping the feet together. And again, that option just to shake it out. Maybe bending one knee and then the other. Good, and moving into our balancing pose here. So it's going to be a modified tree pose, and there's a couple different levels. Please take the option that feels comfortable for you. We're going to begin by shifting weight over onto the right leg. Left foot is going to turn out to the side. And stage one is just to leave it flat on the ground. Just the hip is rotated out, the knee is rotated out. Level two is to bring the foot and press it kind of into the side of the ankle, side of the leg. Toes can still be touching. Hip might have the availability now to open a little deeper. Third option for the most challenge is going to be to actually lift that foot up off the ground, press it into your inner calf. Hip is still opening to the side. So take whichever option feels right to you today. With balancing poses, it's very helpful to find a visual focus point either on the ground, a little bit ahead of you, or straight ahead. You also want to focus on drawing up through your core. So find everything drawing into midline. That's going to make a world of a difference in your balance. And if you feel pretty stable here, option to lift maybe one hand or maybe both hands off the chair. It's okay if you fall out of this pose. Just put that left foot down to catch yourself, and then you can come right back into it. If you're feeling pretty good here, option to grow your tree branches overhead, maybe opening them up, opening the fingers, and breathing here. Good. Hands come back to center. And with control, we'll bring that left foot back down to the earth and just shaking it out a little bit. Good. I'll show you just from the front view this side. You can stay facing your chair where both hands are touching. This time, weight is going to shift over onto the left leg. So for you guys, that's going to be this way. Right foot is going to turn out to the side. We have those same levels, level 1, level 2, or level 3. And then we have that option to bring one hand or both hands to heart center. Again, I'm engaging through my pelvic floor, through my abdominals. Everything's drawing into center here to stabilize me. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Have that visual focus point. And then only if I need more challenge, maybe arms lift overhead. Maybe I grow my branches in tree pose. Good. From here, hands come back to center, stepping the foot back and releasing. And that option just to bend one knee and then the other. Good. And we're going to make our way back down to the chair for some final poses and stretches and just to close our practice today. And making our way back down to our chair, tuning in with that same posture we began our practice with. So both feet pressing evenly to the floor, knees and hips at about 90 degrees. Sit bones pressing into the chair, spine is long, shoulders drawn down and back, that slight tuck in our chin. And tuning in with that nice deep inhale and exhale through the nose. Now that our body is warmed up, moving into some deeper stretches. We'll begin by inhaling, open both of the arms wide. Exhale, left arm is going to come across the body. Right arm is going to bend and hook just above the elbow, just helping to get a nice stretch through the shoulder here. And breathing here. Inhaling, opening wide. Nice deep breath. Exhaling, right arm comes across the body. Left arm hooks just above the elbow. Just breathing into any tightness, any stiffness. And inhaling, opening up wide. Now inhale, left arm's gonna come up overhead, and then you're gonna bend the elbow. Hand is reaching for maybe just below the back of the neck, if you can get it a little bit on the upper back. We wanna make sure we're not pushing our head and neck forward here, so keep that nice tall posture. And then option for right arm to come around, just grab the elbow and help to open up through the tricep. This is where you should be feeling the stretch. Good. Inhale, opening up. And then we'll switch sides. Right arm coming up, elbow bending, left arm grabbing a hold of the elbow. Again, still holding that nice tall posture. Neck is straight. Breathing here. Inhaling to release. Could just let the arms hang for a second. It may feel good just to kind of shake out the wrists, the hands, let that movement come all the way up your arm into your shoulders. Maybe a couple of those shoulder rolls we began our practice with. We'll go 3 back and then 3 forward. Good, and then working our way down our arms, we're gonna bring our hands to heart center. And then dropping the hands down towards the belly, palms still stay touching. We're looking for a stretch through the wrist. So just pause wherever that nice stretch starts to come on for you. A nice stretch for people with carpal tunnel, just opening up some space through the wrists. Good. Inhale, hands back up to center. We'll open the hands and let's just go through some fists. So make some fists and then open the hands and fingers wide. Go through 3 of those. Really try to extend and open. Good. And then rolling the wrists, just making nice circles. And then circling the other way. Good, and then let's release the arms. We'll just shake them out once again. And moving down into our legs, we're gonna extend the left leg out. We're at the edge of our chair still, but nice and secure. Left foot is flexed, knee is straight if it can. If you have a slight bend, that's okay. You're gonna hinge forward at the hips. Right hand can be on the thigh just to help give you a little balance. And the left arm is just going to slide down the leg as you reach forward. There's no certain place you're trying to get to, so this is really listening to you. You should be feeling the stretch in the back of the leg through the hamstring. Just breathing into it, creating space. Good. Inhaling as you come back up. That foot's going to come flat to the floor, over to the other side. Again, extending through the knee. It can have that slight bend if it needs to, staying flexed through the foot. This time, left hand is on the thigh. Right hand is going to slide down, right leg. And breathing here into the back of the leg. For many of us, we have very tight hamstrings, so this is a nice one to incorporate. Good, and inhaling, coming back up. Now we're going to switch over to stretch out the fronts of our thighs. This one I do want you to scooch just a little further back on your chair. May feel a little bit awkward, so just kind of go with what works with your chair and with your body. You're going to slide the left foot back so that it's kind of hooking underneath your chair, and then you're actually going to lean back so that your back is supported. We're looking to open up through our quadricep, the front of our thigh, and into our hip flexor as well. So you might need to play around with, maybe you scoot a little further, a little bit back to where you feel a nice stretch right through here. Just again, sending your breath to any tight areas, creating length and space. If you feel more secure, maybe holding on to the chair here, you can do that. Good. And then you can use your hand just to help push you back up. That foot will come down. Right foot now is going to slide back. Good. And then leaning back. Do you feel a nice stretch through the front of the thigh? Good. And then hands can help to push you back up. That foot comes flat. And let's not forget about our toes. Let's just wiggle the toes around. Maybe fan them out, open them, spread them as wide as you can. And then closing them back down to the floor. Maybe just bringing them up and down a few times. Good. And now we'll move into our final relaxation pose. So you want to find a comfortable seat. You might have the hips towards the front and get in that position where you can lean back and feel supported once again. So back is supported. We're returning to that nice deep inhale and exhale through the nose. Palms can be facing down. This tends to be a more grounding posture, or palms can be facing up, more open to receiving. And then eyes are going to close. And if any thoughts have kind of crept into your mind throughout your practice, just let them float out. And bring your awareness back to this present moment, or nice deep inhale and exhale. So here, I'm going to give you the opportunity, if you do want to just pause the video and take a little longer relaxation, please do, and then just start it up and I'll help you to close your practice. Otherwise, I'll just give you a couple moments here, but this really can be the most important part of our practice. For a lot of us, our minds are racing all day. It's very seldom that we actually sit in peace and calm and just let ourselves enjoy this present moment. So I encourage you to really take this time. Moving into that nice deep belly breath once again. Belly softly rises as you inhale, releases as you exhale. Then we'll begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists and ankles, drawing energy back into the body, just slowly reawakening. We'll make our way back up to our seated posture at the front of the chair, tuning in with our alignment once again. Hands are going to come together at heart center. Thanking yourself for taking this time to honor your body, your mind, your spirit. We'll begin by tipping chin down towards the hands. Just thanking yourself for your practice today. And then option as we bow to each other to say namaste, which means the light within me honors the light within you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.